Okay, it's 6:30. I call this meeting of the Manchester by the Sea Select Board to order. John?
Yes, here.
And yes. Kathy, yes. Brian?
Yes.
And Jeff? Yes.
Here.
Okay.
Yes.
This meeting is being recorded, if anybody cares. Are there any public comments on non-agenda items? No one here?
Well, actually, I had a
Yes, you
couple.
do.
Well,
Okay.
we had some
Sure.
citizens come up to us at the booth
Mm-hmm.
on the table at the Festival by the Sea, and a couple of comments. One was a question around the Pleasant Street and Pine Street intersection. They loved the paving and et cetera, but they were wondering why the crosswalks were located where they were, and was wondering if the job is complete or still in process. Because the resident said that the natural flow of the sidewalks is, crosswalks is different than the children, where they cross when they're coming from Walker Road
Mm-hmm.
onto Pleasant Street. It's like in an odd place, like they have to go down to cross a couple of extra streets. It didn't seem natural to them, so they were curious as to why the placement was the way it was, and I had no idea. So, and I didn't know if it was finished or not. So we just.
Can you please shut the fuck up and kill yourself?
Thank you. So that was
No, you
one.
can continue.
I thank
Don't
you. I
listen.
plan on continuing. So that was one that came up.
Do you want to try to do Zoom again, or do you want to just do the meeting in person?
Well, let's see, who's,
Do we have
I'm not
anybody
sure who
being
was on
interviewed,
Zoom.
or?
I think
That's why
just,
Muffin
it would have
and
just
I'm
been.
sure Muffin and the AD were here for the scoreboard, I'm sure. That's what I saw up there.
And
what about Will
Will
Doucette?
Doucette, I think.
Mm.
is gonna
Was
be
he up there or
on
was he,
Zoom.
I don't know if he was on.
You want to give it one more chance? Let's give it one more shot.
All right, three strikes, you're out.
Nothing we haven't seen already, so.
It's a repeat now.
It's summer season, so we're just repeats.
Recording in progress.
You have to log in, I'll be logging in.
You should be able to get in.
Tony, you said that this is supposed you're going to try to add another layer of security at some point?
Public meeting.
I know, you're right on top of that, weren't you?
Yes, well, frankly, there's a guy in there named Derek McNutt, and I figured that was the suspicious one.
Okay.
Good
If you'll pardon me.
I don't know him, I haven't seen him on the water rolls.
I think he voted for you last.
You should be all set.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So I think it would be good to understand if that's in process or not. And then, items not on the agenda, we can talk about it now, or action items that's coming up right after. We have on the action item list, the review of White Street Beach parking.
Mhm.
But that's not until September, and residents have complained that there's actually camping
Do you
going
want to put it,
on.
bring it forward,
Um,
White Beach parking?
There's actually evidence of people camping out overnight.
Ah.
And so I didn't know if we wanted to, if there's anything we need to discuss sooner, or if Parks and Rec or the police amongst themselves, they can deal with that on their own. But I don't think any of us really want camping going on
We were
overnight.
talking this
That's
as well.
kind of always happened.
Yeah, but I just think if we're going to talk about it, by the time you talk about it in September, it's kind of too late.
Mhm.
So I just wanted to
think
bring
we
it
put
up.
on because we put it on late.
Right.
Because we see what happened, because we thought we were going to have more patrol of parking attendants, and they'd be able to get out there more often, but it looks as if they go on a regular schedule, which is perhaps not ideal.
Yeah, they show up late and leave early.
Well, we don't enforce resident parking overnight. And it seems like Singing Beach has a sign, no overnight parking, but White Beach does not have that. So I don't know if it's as simple as putting up a sign and if
So
that can be
Todd was
done.
saying that apparently it's on some website where up and down where you can park. So usually people who are parking overnight find a Walmart.
Mhm.
Okay, because they allow that. But Todd was saying that there is some website, and I could be wrong, I think that's what he
No,
said.
I think I remember him saying that.
Somehow there's a website that directs people to park there.
So anyway, I just put on the radar because the pictures that I saw were of
It's
a
out of the way.
non-United States
Yeah, it was a French,
Plate.
French
French
plate.
plate. I don't even know how these people got here.
Mhm.
So I
Illegal,
didn't feel it was
obviously.
appropriate to wait until September. So I don't know how you want to handle it, Tony.
Well, the chief is back tomorrow, so I'll be connecting with him, and Chuck will be back later this week. So as far as like improved signage goes, I think three of us could get together and figure out what a better approach might be with that. For the public, I think if you see something, call the police station and we'll send a cruiser down there to deal with it. As far as added enforcement or a parking attendant, that's kind of a longer term discussion, because obviously there'll be funding needed to
Right, that can wait
to
till
support
September,
that.
right, yeah.
Yes.
And
This particular issue looked like something that was different than what we
As long as
planned
we're
on
talking
discussing.
about signage in West Beach, I've heard on a couple different occasions that there should be a handicap parking.
Right, I
Which
spoke
we can
with some.
discuss. No, it's Chris Thomas.
You were with us.
Oh, he's been on my case.
The two of us were there, yeah. They
So we'll
like,
just, I think that comes up in September as well.
yeah,
Handicap parking, yeah, but
a handicap sign really right in front of the access to the beach. So the handicap, because otherwise people will park right in front of that that access spot. And then it's hard if you've got a wheelchair or something to get out.
it's gonna be hard anyway, because that's like soft.
Yeah, I understand it's,
Oh,
otherwise it's big rocks.
We're going to tie it up right now, but we'll put that on for September as
And
well.
then my last item, as I signed a cemetery deed this morning, again, I thought back to a previous select board meeting that we had where we talked about items that should come off of the plate of the select board because it should be delegated to the people who actually make the decisions. So I went through all my notes and I found that we had a list at the November 21st, 2022 meeting of items that were supposed to be investigated for perhaps, things we don't need to talk about anymore or sign anymore. So cemetery deeds was one. The tree hearing was the second. Is that something that could be delegated to the tree warden or the town administrator? The dog hearings, that was the third. The fourth item I took note of was National Grid presentations. And then the fifth item was committee interviews. Would it be better for a couple of people from the select board to interview committee candidates and make recommendations to the broader board? Would that be more effective or not? So anyway, no decisions on any of these, but I just, again, anytime we're kind of rubber stamping somebody else's decision, it's really not, it's usually a sign something's not
Well, I
quite
think
in
that
alignment.
on the cemetery, we just have to sign the book. There's no, I
But,
think it's a land transfer.
but in other
Yeah.
towns, the select boards don't do that. So the question is,
I'm not gonna
is there
change.
another approach that we can take? Because somebody's making the decision on these plots and it's not us. So anyway, just looking for a
And
discussion and final
I'm
decision.
all in agreement with trees.
Yeah.
dogs.
So that was my list. Thank you.
If we,
Well, I think we need to discuss this when it's been notified.
Correct. Yeah, so this was just my list to put on an action item list for our future meeting, but those were the items that I recalled. I couldn't remember if there was others.
Yeah, just add them to the action item list. I agree.
Yes.
How'd you do it over there?
I sign them, so I'd have to look back to see if the Town Administrator Act gave me that authority, or if it was just a select board vote to give me the authority at one point in time. I'm sure that could solve this one too, but
This wouldn't be a bylaw issue, would it?
I don't think so. I think the select board probably has the default authority because it's town-owned land, but I believe you would have the ability to, a simple vote to transfer me as the signatory on those would probably work. If we do a retreat later this month or early next month where we talk about goals and things of that nature, that we could kind of talk through some of those items. Back to the Pleasant Street, I'll check with Chuck on that too, if the job's done. I'm assuming that it's a traffic standard type sight
That's what I would
line
assume.
element, but I'll talk with them.
Yeah, it could be, because on Pleasant Street, the sidewalk is only on one side. So the resident was saying, why wouldn't the students continue on that side as they walk up Walker Road? But the crosswalk is on the opposite side,
So they have to go like,
so they gotta go back and forth.
Yeah.
So it's just a lot.
Kids need to exercise.
Yeah.
Oh, these little suckers.
Along the lines of comments at the festival, I had two people speak about the walkway back here and markings for that it's not obvious enough. We got a sign.
The sign is.
There's a
really-
sign, but people, of course, look at the sign and they see this big fence which has been slid back on a driveway that looks like an industrial access driveway and says, is this right?
Mm.
And I think I had spoken with Chuck a number of months ago and I said, look, just paint a walk.
It's not welcoming.
But the
No,
problem
it is
not. It's not our
And
walk.
people aren't sure. And furthermore, you get to the end, and of course, now you're going to make a sharp left. I mean, a straight left. And if you look down there, of course, that road, that path jogs to the right. So you look at it, and like it goes nowhere. It just goes to
There's a,
fence. So you
issue with
need,
some private property there too, though.
yeah, well, yeah, but there's been easements provided. And so we need an arrow at the, they should paint something on, and I sent a note to Chuck last night. Just paint the sidewalk thing so it looks like a sidewalk, and at the end, put an arrow and say, turn left, you'll get there. It's only, 20 yards, 15 yards, and then
And eventually, I
know.
think once,
Yeah, but it does feel like you're cutting through somebody's backyard.
Well, I agree, and I think the
It's not
biggest thing
welcome,
is you just look that way, and all you see is a wall or
Yeah.
a screen. You don't see, oh, there's the exit.
Right, yeah,
Yeah,
I agree.
so, that's something that I think DPW.
Anything else? Okay. So that anyone who is remote will put up a hand if you want to be heard. Okay, there is no chairman's report. Do we have anything else that we want to put on action item? Okay. Don't see. We'll do set, but I'm maybe not. First item is the interview will do set.
Well, Debbie generally gets in touch with the folks, right?
yeah, he said he would be on.
that was him earlier.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Trying to get in such.
Well, we could skip him in case he shows up later in the meeting. If you want, we could take a vote on the other two
Mhm.
folks for now.
Well, why don't we take a vote on Matt Bergeron, Joseph Fagan, and in fact, the whole list under item 2. Matt Bergeron, Joseph Fagan, Gordon Brewster, Andy Olderman, Kathy, and Jeff Butler Turner, with Henry Auditor as backup.
Okay. Kathy is probably nominating herself, as I
I
see.
don't think I should nominate myself, so I would
wanna
welcome
swap?
John. I would, yes. But
Okay,
I think Anna's suggesting we do all in one motion.
Just all in one motion.
Oh,
So John, if you want
okay,
to
all right, I will do that. Okay. Then I move that the Select Board appoint Matt Bergeron and Joseph Bagan as at-large members on the Facility Planning Committee for terms to expire on June 30th, 2028, and to appoint Gordon Brewster as Planning Board Representative, Andy Olderman as Finance Committee Representative, Kathy Bellata as Select Board Representative, and Jeff Bodmer Turner as Conservation Commission Representative, with Henry Ottinger as the Conservation Commission backup member to the Facility Planning Committee for terms to expire on June 30th, 2028. 7.
Second.
Discussion? John?
Yes.
Anne says yes. Kathy?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
And Jeff?
Yes.
Okay. The next item is Woody Kelly. And I think the explanation here is pretty clear. We talked to him some time ago. He was the force behind having a conservation, a community preservation committee. He's back in town, and there's now an open slot for him.
That's you.
That's me. I move that the board appoint Woody Kelly as an at-large member of the Community Preservation Committee for a term to expire on June 30th, 2028.
Second.
Discussion? Jeff?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
Anne says yes.
John, yes.
The next item is the financial management review from the DLS. And I think Tony brought this up and
Yeah, so Department of Revenue, their Division of Local Services, their Financial Management Bureau offers a number of free services to municipalities. Manchester by the Sea had a financial management review performed in 2012. We spoke about it at the Finance Committee meeting a couple weeks back. The Finance Committee welcomed the idea of requesting an update to that review, and it requires a vote of the select board to make the request. It's not an audit. It does not come with requirements. It's just simply recommendations after taking a look at a number of different departments or our bylaws or our process, and making some recommendations for us to consider.
How long is the process?
I'm guessing. I think it's a couple months. I think it's like 3 or 4 months. And I think that they're about. I say that because when I spoke with someone over there, they said they were 3 or 4 months behind. If we put the request in, it likely wouldn't start until another 3 or 4 months from now.
All right. It's over 10 years since the other one was done. That certainly predates all of us here. I don't know. What was the disposition? Is that something that comes down the pipe and then is put on the shelf? I mean, I looked through it. A number of the recommendations I think have been adopted. I'm not sure if that was the drive or otherwise. There was kind of an overlap with some of the operations, the findings in the operations audit that we had. But will these guys look at the 2012 report? I assume they will, and say, what have you guys done? There were like 31 findings. And it looked like some of them are done. Others we wouldn't necessarily know. But that's going to be integrated into that?
I think so. Yeah, I think we can ask for that they include in the updated report things that we accomplished since the last report, or recommendations that we've.
They should. I mean, that should be almost their starting point, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can we direct them to dive deeper into a particular area, or is it just kind of they're comparing us against other benchmarks?
No, I've never been part of the initial process, the startup element. I guess describing what the scope of the work is going to be. But I think that we have that ability to ask them to take a closer look at certain elements.
So, like, for example, one of the things I'm interested in, we've talked about for a couple of years, is the optional services that we provide. Or even some of the mandatory services are what should be fee-based versus funded by taxation. It's one way to keep our taxes under control is making sure we're leveraging fee-based options wherever we can, and are we doing enough of that, as an example?
Yeah.
or the fees we're charging for the mandatory services, are they in line with what other towns charge?
I don't think that would
Historically,
be
they've
part
been
of.
low.
Yeah, that is certainly something that we need to look at. I don't know if that would be part of this process, but that may be, they may have an alternative, another offer of service that could get a little bit closer into our fee structure and how it compares to similar communities. We talked about that at the finance committee meeting as well, taking a closer look at that. Especially, and we did that just recently in Nahant with inspectional service fees. That was a big one that just tends to get away from the market quickly. So that's one that you try to look at pretty regularly.
Yeah, I see where Jake is already looking at his fees. According to his,
I read in the report, I think Andrea was here for that. I think somewhere in the report it said, and the person has only been here for 6 months, or something like that. So have you spoken with her about this at all?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so she knows what the findings were, or the recommendations were.
Yeah, she's, with her audit background, she loves the idea of having them come in, and it's not a real audit, it's just recommendation, and it's a free service, so she's on board with
I'm a
it.
big fan of
Fine.
free. It's coming out of your tax.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long has the DLS been doing this? In other words, have they got a number of towns where they, all right, we're in the second or even third?
Probably there's a 3-month backlog.
I don't know, I'd have to look
Well-
back, but on their website, you can look at all the reports that they've
Oh,
performed.
is that on the,
Yeah.
I did look at the web. I went there 15 seconds and then my eyes glassed over. I was looking at it.
Yeah.
But I guess maybe down at the end it was that. Okay.
Yeah, I sort of recommend that we bring this up again as the date that they were coming gets closer, so we can make recommendations as to what we want to hear, what we want to look at. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, I'm ready.
I move the select board request services from the DLS Financial Management Resource Bureau for a financial management review.
Second.
John?
Yes.
Anne says yes, Kathy?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
And Jeff?
Yes.
Okay. The next item is the scoreboard for Brook Street Field. And our requirement is that we accept the gift. Is there any discussion?
When this was brought to my attention, I first asked, is it normal that this would be put in front of the select board for a vote? It is part of, when you're accepting a gift, that is financial, municipal finance law that requires the select board to accept a gift. But it's also town property, and I believe that's part of your tradition, I think, is to vote on accepting that and it being installed. It still, I believe, has to go through the Conservation Commission process.
Mhm.
So your vote obviously is
Is conditional on.
conditional. Yep. There was, you may know the history better than I. I believe there used to be a scoreboard there, and this is going in the
It's
same
right
location.
Same location.
Yeah.
I don't know, the concrete paths may even still be there. I'm not sure.
Further discussion?
I move that the board accept the gift of a new scoreboard and approve the installation at the Brook Street Field, conditioned upon Conservation Commission approval.
Okay. Further discussion? Jeff?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
Anne says yes.
Yes.
John says yes. Right. Number 6 is the special event permit, which we're not.
Yeah, I think the Rotary got ahead of himself.
Yep.
Yeah, they have some more details to work out, but I do think they'll be coming back before us soon.
And finally, the consent agenda.
Any concerns with that, or I'll make a motion?
No.
All right, I move the select board approve the consent agenda items listed.
Second.
Discussion. Anne says yes.
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
And Jeff?
Yes.
Okay, we skipped over the liaison updates because I can't read. Jeff?
Is your foot?
Yeah.
Well, the meat and potatoes of the planning board was they had a long discussion with Kathy McCabe on the downtown visioning project.
Mhm.
They went over some of the stuff from that public forum. I think we're all there for that. They went over some of the goals. Some of it was some possible zoning changes to allow mixed use by right downtown. Possibly active first floor use for property with street frontage. So it would be commercial and then
Mhm.
residential above. Some talk about parking, increased visibility, which John talked about with the path earlier. And parking out back here behind Town Hall. Develop and distribute parking maps. They talk some about business recruitment, development of a business welcome page, support development of new pop-up businesses and new entrepreneurs. And these pop-up businesses, I thought that was kind of interesting. They had she talked about, I think you were there, right, Tony? She talked about like a 300 square foot space that people could have like a little pop-up business for like a week or a month or something like that. So I thought that was, I don't know how it would work.
Well, you
They
have
do
to
it in
find,
Boston all the time.
Yeah.
Like Julian Edelman had one
Yeah.
for like a few weeks or something.
Salem has the old city hall.
Yeah.
The first floor is where all kinds.
Yeah, I've
I
been
don't know where
there.
we put it.
Well,
Yeah.
a few empty storefronts.
Yeah.
Well, that's up to landlords.
That's true.
Yeah, but
But-
we could encourage find some way to encourage landlords.
Like Jim Brown has already, they've mentioned this at some of the chamber meetings we attended as well, so I think they're very open to it.
Yeah, no, it seemed like an interesting idea anyway. And just some other improvements, information-wise, business maps. Someone talked about a downtown harbor walking trail, which I think would kind of go back into that when they talked about Masconomo Park,
That was
when
the
they
whole
had that,
redesign.
yeah, that whole redesign. So I think that,
Boardwalk all around there.
I mean, whether that's, however you feel about that, but. And also trying to grow existing businesses, so that was what it.
These people string outside their
Well, I
The
think,
mandate.
I think the next steps is trying to figure out who's gonna take what pieces of this. And, it's not gonna be all planning, but.
Yeah, because the DIP is doing.
Right, it's doing a
In the
lot
chamber,
of it too.
I think it's more of a dip in chamber, but collaboration.
They did, I mean, early on, she did mention, she said, somebody's got to spearhead all of the stuff in terms of programs and promotion and all of that. Who's going to take ownership of that? It seems like it is DIP, but that really is kind of a big responsibility. It's kind of like almost a
Well,
baby.
yeah, and they're
type of
working on
position.
their revised charter. They won't be meeting again until September.
Yeah, that's correct.
But at some
part of
point,
that.
committees can only do so much, right? So
Yeah.
at some point, there needs to be at
And
least
that's
a
a lot.
town point of contact to ensure continuity, regardless of how the committees,
I think
change.
that the chamber, Manchester has always been like stepchild of the Cape Ann Chamber for a long time.
I
with
think
Jim
they've got
Brown.
at Gloucester and Stepchester.
Yeah. But now that, I mean, it's gotten big with Ipswich, and I think that having Jim Brown as the president of the chamber has brought Manchester to the forefront. I think we had I think it was a very successful Festival by the Sea.
Mm.
You know, the one local business had a record day. Okay. I mean, you couldn't get that, you couldn't have boarded the weather up any better than that. But I really think that's a DIP work in collaboration with the chamber. That's their mandate.
Yeah,
Not yet.
I think.
Well, no, it's
Yeah.
I mean, people pay to be members of the chamber for a reason.
Mhm.
Oh, the chamber's mandate, yes.
I think hoping that the planning board will take it over is,
I think they got enough on the plate.
they've got an awful lot on their plate.
I think the effort there was the DIP committee was presenting to the planning board, you know, some of the discussion that they've been having and the findings that they've received or that they've seen themselves, and the overlap with the planning board is the zoning element.
Right,
Mhm.
yeah.
I think the DIP knows to stay away from zoning.
Right.
Yeah.
They can make
They have
requests
no
to-
interest
I think
in
if the DIP comes up with a plan
Right, yeah.
and then comes to the planning board, can you
Select-
tailor
yeah.
some zoning to
Yeah.
allow this plan to develop?
Mhm.
Is the way it goes. So it
Right.
starts with the DIP and in
The
conjunction.
chamber, yeah.
You know, I had talked to you earlier about some kind of cultural fund that we could set up. That we would, for instance, I don't know how we'd fund it, on my review. But if you want to say there is an open, a vacant storefront somewhere, maybe there's someone, store owner or landlord can come to this cultural or whatever you want to call it,
Cultural council.
but there's no funding there.
Well, what about CPA?
Okay,
I
But that's
don't think that-
you know,
Yeah.
but I'm saying something that's really quick. I want to, we can come up with $5,000. Can you match this $5,000 so we can do and have something going on? And I go back to what was the Porch Fest in Magnolia, which is a big thing. I guess it started in Somerville, I guess. And
Yeah.
I walked around. It was great, but I don't know who paid for what. But maybe there's, if we had some seed money available to get this up and going, and every year, because people look forward now to the Festival by the Sea. Now, that's got nothing to do with Manchester, but that's an event that people look forward to.
Mhm.
The carnival coming up. Wait till the cardboard boat race. Okay, these are events that people, start to embrace.
Is the carnival happening?
The carnival, okay, that'll be my liaison update.
Okay, well, I don't want to cut into your liaison.
Okay, well, you just did, all right? I know, the carnival's going to be scaled back. The Harvest Fest is going to be scaled back. The carnival will happen. The boosters found that it wasn't as profitable, it wasn't a return on investment they were hoping for. So Ty is running with the Harvest Party. He's going to scale it all back. He's going to invite vendors over, but it's going to be it's not going to be what we the last 2 years. But the carnival itself was always the driving factor. So the boosters will run the carnival part of it. Ty will run with it.
So they'll be coming to us to,
Yeah, I think my understanding is they already applied. I haven't talked to Cheryl, but I know that Emily Kavanaugh had filled out the paperwork. So it might be this month at the Parks and Rec. They go through them first. And then Ty is looking for some guidance as what he wants to do. So I'm going to set him up with Debbie at some point as far as some permitting goes, liquor license, etc. What's interesting is that this year, because this year there was no beer tent at the festival. This is the first time in 7 or 8 years. Last year at the carnival, the beer vendor wasn't coming back. It wasn't profitable. So I don't know exactly what Ty's looking to do, but it seems to me that they don't work. You and I had also chatted about that, being penned into a little area that you can't wander around. It kind of is counterproductive. I was walking out of the French Quarter when they said you couldn't take your drink with you. I didn't leave the French Quarter. Drink, I'm not leaving. So,
But that's different if it's the French Quarter, right?
yeah, the French, there's a lot
Still
more
a
walking
lot of
around the
places
French
to
Quarter.
walk
I couldn't
around.
leave the French Quarter and walk into New Orleans proper. But so these are things that, I'm gonna mention it to Ty when I see him. Are you sure you wanna go this route? And he's looking towards Deb for some guidance as far as the permit, license, and insurance.
Gonna be an apple pie.
Ryan and I are there.
It won't be a dunk tank, I'll tell you that. They lost money on the dunk. Apparently, I wasn't as big a target as they wasn't as big a draw as people wanted. So that also wraps up my liaison.
I had a nice meeting with the MBTA Advisory Committee Director and Associate Director last week. So I went into the meeting, it was kind of a last minute meeting, just a week's notice, and I kind of thought I was going to collect feedback and bring that to the meeting, but then I thought, I just want to find out how to engage with these people, right? And so it was a really good meeting. So a couple of things. I did request ridership data because I think it would be helpful for us to have real data rather than anecdotal data about who uses the stop here and how often. But then I found us discussing more regional transportation items, and this is where I do think we need to engage. So, for example, there's a climate committee, right? When we plan, talk about our climate challenges, we always talk about the fact that the station here is going to be underwater at some point. Well, that's not something we can fix ourselves, right? We need to partner with other communities. There's a climate committee, and I do think, Tony, we might want to have somebody representing Manchester, because I told them, look, you can, do whatever you want along the Rockport line, but as soon as that track goes underwater, you lose Gloucester. So, we all need to work together. The other thing we talked about was the parking. So their website says that the town owns the parking. I was like, I don't know about that. So they checked while we were at the meeting, and MBTA owns the parking, but they weren't sure who was managing them, who was managing the parking. And people can park there for free. Doesn't cost it, but is anybody actually managing it, seeing if those people are on the train, or are they using it for beach parking? Because we do have a parking challenge, and if no one's managing those spaces, that's a lot of spaces. So that also might be something that we should engage with them on. The other item was we talked about regional transportation discussions they've been having with other communities. And one of the things they mentioned was connecting the commuter rail to the Blue Line, which would be kind of the holy grail for the seacoast, by putting in a commuter rail station in Wonderland. So apparently the Revere mayor is really pushing for that, and he could use some support. So I talked to Tony, I'm like, if you can get more ridership usage on the line, people going to the airport or to the aquarium, whatever, you can alleviate some of that traffic we all hit on 128 South just trying to get through Beverly, So there are a couple of regional items that if we may want to partner with other communities, rather than thinking of that commuter rail station as just something that's there for Singing Beach. We could have an impact on transportation for our community by thinking outside of our community. So that was my main takeaway. I'm looking forward to getting some of the data from them so we can really understand who's using the team. That was that.
So Wednesday, there's a municipal coordination call that I'm on with the MBTA.
Awesome.
I wrote down those 4 things. I'm not sure what the topic of conversation or how the flow of that meeting's going to go, but if I have an opportunity, I'll bring those up.
Yeah, I mean, really connecting to the Blue Line would be the holy grail for the seacoast. The tracks run in parallel, and it's ridiculous. You can see Wonderland, wave to it as you ride on the train, and it would be such a big deal to connect those two.
Can you go to the Wonderland Ballroom?
Is that even there anymore? I don't think so. I'm in that area quite a bit, and I haven't seen that in quite a long time.
rides along the way.
Yeah, well, I chatted with the seniors today. They did ask questions about where the condo docks stand, and I'm not sure, are you in the middle of that, or is
I had a
Tony,
conversation, I had a
or who's in the
conversation with
middle
Jim
of it?
Brown on Saturday. And Jim is, knowing his cousin as he does, and you're getting to know, okay, Jim is doing some red lines on his own. He's modifying, getting everything together, and he's just gonna drop it in the rest of the lap. If we recall, the PNS got installed, and
You got a hold of it.
Russ got hold of it. Here we are now. He's been promised, I saw him at Dewey's, going into Dewey's, no, the Jazz Fest a couple of weeks ago. I'll have that this week. That was what, 2 or 3 weeks. So I think that now that Jim Brown is taking the lead on this, and I will touch base with him in the next day or two to see where it's at.
What are they changing?
Pardon?
Do we know what they're changing, or fiddling with, I should say?
No, except that if it's Russ, he's gonna fiddle with everything.
All right, so you weren't here for the last go-around. I will want to see that well in advance of this folks' discussion, our board discussing it. I'm a trustee for my condos, my second go-around with condos. There's stuff that has to make sense. The documents have to align with how you want to run the facility. So I will be looking for certain things, and if they're tinkering with that stuff.
No, I think it's just, the big item was the voting.
That's,
But we've
we'll
also-
talk, yeah.
We've already agreed to.
Was that 2
It
and
can't
2?
be changing what we talked about in the PNS, because if that gets into a whole can of worms, and I've been down that road, so we should talk off, with Tony maybe.
Okay, all right, so let's just say that it's in progress. We
Yes.
can't really say anything more than that at this point.
I
know
did tell, I think in an email, or at least with Todd Crane and Jim, that, we want to start a serious fundraising in September. So we have to have,
August.
Yeah,
it's not,
That
now it's
is
August, and we have to have something substantial.
That has to be really finalized.
Yeah.
It really does, part of the story. So that's happening. The Dilo ride with CADA starts tomorrow.
nice.
So we'll see how that goes.
The initial
They've got, I signed up, and I will take a ride within the next probably 2 weeks, a ride to nowhere. Maybe I'll go to the Cheesecake Factory or something. I don't know. But I will see how that goes. But they do have some promotional initiatives to try and get the word out. They certainly had flyers with the seniors. They're on social media. They obviously have information on the CADA website. I think they have flyers here.
And we sent them an address list for
Okay.
seniors as
Oh,
well,
good.
so they
So
can
good.
Do a mailing.
They can do that, yeah. So you need to register with them, so whenever you call, they say, I know who you are, I've got whatever the basic information is that they need. And they can.
What's
they
the
can
age
show up.
requirement?
Pardon me?
You're senior?
They will take anybody. It's just that who needs rides?
Cheesecake Factory.
I'm not going to the Cheesecake Factory. But I'll go someplace, just to ride and then get a
Or
ride
you have
back.
a bum toe and you can't drive.
Hey, that's not a
there you
bad
go,
idea.
no?
Where do you want to go, Ann?
I'll take her to the doctors, right?
Yeah, okay,
Well, we'll
fine.
just
I
say-
should pick up their.
Well, just see what the story is.
Yeah.
So that's going along. The library, well, Jack Burke got around on Saturday, and he made some observations with regard to the library, as you probably know, with regard to the generator there, which was installed and hooked up not too much, not too many months ago. But it was kind of an incomplete job because there was some construction involved that left construction debris and mounds of earth and other things like that. It was kind of by bushes, et cetera, but nevertheless, it should have been all cleaned up. So Chuck has been informed that it'll be taken care of, I think, in the next week or so. That's it. Historic District Commission, there's no report on that, and DPW is this one with trash.
I missed the Board of Health meeting, but it didn't seem as if there was anything particularly that they were going to talk about. It was a specific septic system and reappointments, and I think reappointments are pretty clear. I will try to get to their next meeting because there hasn't been as much progress as hoped on the 2 Desmond Avenue property. It's a kind of a desperate message from Michael's son saying, you know, I'm working at 2 a.m. and trying to move stuff out, but he's not getting there.
I spoke to Wendy just before the meeting tonight, and there was more email exchange today. I'll definitely give them credit on communication.
Yeah.
As well as their attorneys communicating pretty regularly with ours. So there's more information being
Good.
passed back and forth.
Mhm.
Progress is
It's construction.
opinion based.
Yes, and I think, you know, to that point, I think they're trying, from what I can read, they're also trying to incorporate their expansion. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's, you know,
Bingo.
and I think that they are moving in that direction. We know they're not living in there. I think that this is my opinion, but it's, you know, the Board of Health's going to make their decision on their own, is that status quo and let them keep chugging along.
Do we have
As
any
long as
signed
they're, as
contracts?
long as they're moving forward.
We have filed,
Yeah, I saw that.
and
It was August 8th.
yeah.
So there's communication going back and forth with our attorneys and their attorney about a joint petition to postpone
Okay,
the receivership hearing that's scheduled for Friday.
Yeah.
okay.
And I believe the Board of Health will be making that official decision on Thursday at their meeting.
Right.
But part of that is some other elements that, you know, they're looking for from 2 Desmond Drive as well.
Mhm.
You know, trying to kind of work with, but also keep progress.
Do we have a signed contract for the roofing work yet?
Nope, and we haven't seen anything related to plumbing.
And nobody in town has been through that facility, through that house.
Correct. That's another element.
That's 3 issues that are,
Tetanus shot.
I'd like to see one of those 3 before we let go of that meeting on Friday.
So
I agree with you on
It's
that.
not our decision, but I'd like to see at least one of those 3 things done, otherwise we're just being strung along.
I think I got you're not alone in that. That's the impression I got. So Thursday morning was.
Okay.
The school committee is meeting on August 19th, I think. And the finance committee is scheduled to meet again in October. Pretty light liaison work for me.
I'd like to attend that August 19th meeting
Yeah.
with you if that's
Sure,
if you
absolutely.
can. I sent you an email today.
Yeah,
asking if you could
I sent
connect
you
me with-
something back
Okay, great.
introducing you to the major players,
Great.
and I didn't introduce you to them so much as them to you.
Okay.
Um,
Great.
And I'll let you know when I know for sure. They ordinarily meet at 6 in the high school in my age would have been called the library.
What's it called now? Center?
Media
Media-
center?
No.
No?
I don't know what it's.
That's not that, I don't care. I'm sorry, I even asked.
Okay.
I didn't realize it was going to be that long.
Administrator report?
Yep.
So since, today, I attended the event at the American Legion with the Chelsea Home, with Senator Tarr and Chief McNeely and Lieutenant McCoy were there. It was the 80th anniversary of this event. And it was a great time. They were very excited to be there. And Senator Tarr presented them with a citation Since we met last, of course, we've been dealing with Republic and the trash issue. Again, this week, our DPW will be doing curbside collection of recycling on Thursday for Monday's route and Friday for Tuesday's route. I believe the added transfer station hours have been helpful. I did speak with someone at the Festival by the Sea about, maybe some improved signage and guidance at the transfer station as to, I think the flow of traffic was fine before we ran into this strike issue, and now all of a sudden you have a lot more residents going to the transfer station, and so the flow of traffic is backing up a little bit. So I'll talk with Chuck, and probably we'll meet with Black Earth on that. We also had a meeting, a KRPC meeting, that's a regional emergency management group in Rockport a couple weeks ago. That was really good to meet all the different players and talk about, our regional shelter operation and different action items that we're hoping to pursue as a group moving forward. Met with the Friends of the Council on Aging with John. That was a great introduction. Obviously, a lot of things going on in that area. I attended a harbor management meeting. We also had with Senator Tar, we had a meeting with MassDOT and state police and some of the neighboring municipalities about wrong way driving on 128, and starting to kind of talk about what types of solutions could be presented that the legislature could help support through funding, and see if we can really correct a lot of the wrong way driving issues are drunk drivers or seniors who, it's not intentional, they just don't know which way they're going. And so trying to come up with better ways to prevent those accidents that are occurring. I had a tour of the water and sewer treatment plants with Chuck. It was 90 degrees. No, it was great. It was great. I love seeing that stuff, and it really helps understand, these major capital projects that we have, and meeting the staff, and they do a great job. I mean So I keep going back to where I come from in Nahant. Our water came from MWRA, and our sewer we just sent to Lynn Water Sewer Treatment Plant. We didn't treat on the island. So to see the complexity of the system, and Chuck he just knows like the technical details. It's really impressive, and we have a great team with Woodard and Karn and the folks over at the treatment plant. So it was good. I was glad to be able to do that. And then the Festival by the Sea was a great day, as you mentioned, and I toured the library with Cynthia on Thursday prior to that communication. So I had already started talking about some of those issues, and I'll follow up with Chuck when he gets back. And then the planning board meeting. So the planning board meeting, and that zoning element, they did say that they may be considering a special town meeting in November to take that up. They were going to, in their meeting in September, they would confirm. We have, on the town side, we have some things that we could add to that warrant if we do have a meeting, but I'm really trying to see what the planning board wants to do, and if they want to move forward with the zoning change, we'll add some things on. If they don't feel ready, I think we could wait until annual town meeting in the spring. And I also met with the Affordable Housing Trust as well, because we're going to be speaking with Senator Tar and Secretary Augustus about the Powder House project and things that happen there, and some of the other, housing elements that the big topic there is our housing authority, not just ours, but many towns are just under funded and don't have the resources to maintain, the properties they have. And while we're supportive of expanding housing, we also have to make sure that we support the housing that we do have too. So we'll be talking with Senator Tar and Secretary Augustus about that. And that's my update. I don't know if is Will, are you on the phone? If not, if one of you want to, if I could schedule a time to meet with Will, we could do that between now and the next meeting and recommend, or
I think that sounds like a good idea. Perhaps you and Kathy would talk to him, and then, although he's not appointed, he should be involved, and we will appoint him when we have a chance all to talk.
Good idea.
all right.
Good. Yeah, is there a time that this group is,
Not been invited to
Nothing's
any
been-
meetings yet.
nothing's
We
been
were
pulled
waiting
together?
I
till,
think they were waiting till for this
Tonight.
meeting.
They were waiting
Appointment,
tonight.
Yeah,
So you're
So,
at 95% of the board now, right?
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
you should just go ahead.
so
and
that
send
may
it
be
to-
happen in the next 2 weeks.
There's nobody who's obviously in charge of it. It's probably Chuck.
Right.
Yeah.
So when Chuck
Yeah,
gets
it's-
back, he should rally the troops and
Yeah.
get that started.
Motion to adjourn?
All in favor?
Aye.
New record.
An hour.